Doomguy,
Right.
the librarian. Ah, actually, that's pretty metal.
Yes, today we are starting the Ancient Gods Part 2, and the Barbarian skin seemed like the most appropriate for the first level, the World Spear.
Mm-hmm. This level took me several days to get through. Not because it was difficult, but because after part 1, I needed to decompress.
Yes, and on that subject, Tag 1 was pretty infamously difficult. When Tag 2 came out, it was markedly easier than Tag 1. They also, when Tag 2 dropped, they also went back and changed a bunch of Tag 1 to make it easier. This triggered one of the larger controversies in the Doom community. Because following the release of Tag 1 and leading up to Tag 2, fans had felt like they had been sticking their neck out for id, saying like, no, Tag 1's difficulty is fine. It's supposed to make you fight better and earn your power fantasy and all of that. But it seems as though id was under the opinion that they had gone too far in a few places and pulled back. We'll get back to that in just a second.
Okay, 2 questions. 1, I thought it said that Doomguy would be in trouble if he killed somebody here, not that he was incapable of killing somebody here.
No, it's that it's physically impossible to hurt anyone here.
And 2, I wonder what that thing is in his chest.
Some demon something, I guess.
Maybe, I don't know, the Argent Accelerator comes to mind, but...
But yeah, so there things were a little uneasy between id Software and its community following the release of Tag 2. In the end, they would end up reverting most of the changes they made to Tag 1, so it's pretty faithful to how it was at launch. However, a couple of things that were stayed changed, such as introducing spirits with a Hell Knight instead of a Baron of Hell.
Mm-hmm. Now, I am curious, are there mods to, like, put things back the way it was?
I mean, maybe there are. There almost certainly will be now that official mod support is coming / in beta and available right now. I haven't really looked into it, but I mean, I haven't looked much into the Doom Eternal modding scene in general. So
this is this Argentina? Which where are we? Terrace Nabat? No, where are we?
This is definitely Argent Denor because it has the World Spear sticking through it.
So the idea is the World Spear happened, and that basically kind of made the what's the name of the people? Oh my gosh,
the Argenta.
Yeah, the Argenta, the people they are, kind of more or less just over evolving on this planet with this magical sphere doohickey stabbed through the planet.
As I recall, after the spear impaled the planet, that's when the Wraiths appeared. And just like in Ocarina of Time, when the Wraiths appeared, they brought life to the planet. Now,
so this is the...
I don't recall if the Argenta existed before then, or it's been a while since I've read all of the lore.
I feel like it implied they didn't, but I love this gunmetal green. It's almost like it's made of jade. Ooh, I really like that.
That is the name of the skin, Jade.
Oh, I'm a dork that I could just. Can you shoot their arm through the little hole with like the sniper rifle, or no?
Maybe, but maybe not. I don't think you're intended to do it like Jackals from Halo.
I have Halo 3 Legendary Jackal flashbacks whenever I see anything that resembles a Jackal.
Oh yeah, real quick on the again, about the Tag 1 changes. id Software's justification for changing things back was under the philosophy, once you release something, you don't change it too much.
Right. There was... I don't know how much you've been following Skullgirls. You probably haven't. Whoa.
I know of the controversy.
Right. I'm of the opinion of, you paid for something that is more or less, like... It's not a software, it's a... You paid for what is essentially, if this was an art book, they came into your house and tore pages out of your art book that you already paid for. Like, I don't know if I agree one way or the other about it, of what was in it, but at the same time, I'm just like, people already bought it. You can't just... I was mad. Luckily, I have a backup somewhere, you know. But yeah,
there's
I can
no
see, like,
easy answer to it.
No, I mean, it's weird because it's not a service, it was a good. So it's that to me makes it a little more black and white, but
I definitely lean towards that, but I mean, technically this has been around in some form or another ever since the first big one I remember is when they changed the ending of Portal 1.
Wait, rip? They changed the ending of Portal 1?
When you're laying on the ground after the explosion, it used to just fade out, and then years later, as a lead into Portal 2, they added in a robot voice walking up and saying, "Thank you for assuming the position," and then drag you off.
I didn't like that either. Like, but yeah, I mean, to be fair, I bought the compendium for one thing and one thing only: all of the character sprites perfectly, like, laid out, so I can make stupid animations. Ugh. Anyway, back to Doom. I quite liked this level despite how long-winded it felt at times.
Thanks to the, again, my prep work, this is the only DLC level that had a master level, and so I ended up getting pretty sick of it, having to play it so many times.
Speaking of sick of things, I was immediately sick of this Screecher zombie idea. Like, gosh. Like, what is the intended, like, route here? Just don't touch the Screechers?
So the Screechers are actually supposed to be kind of dynamic difficulty. For players who aren't into being beaten over the head Dark Souls style, you just have to be careful and avoid them. But for those who want a bigger challenge, just immediately pop a Screecher and then you can take on the hard guys.
The thing that's annoying to me is that the Screechers respawn indefinitely, right?
I'm not sure. I think it's just that each wave there's more, and then you either pop them during it, or if there's only Screechers left, they all die.
Yeah, it was really annoying at first. And the aggro range is kind of ridiculous, but that worked.
So I believe the 3 buffs are Screecher, Spirit, and Archvile slash...
Iron...
No, Buff Totem. So if you can... So I think people tried to manipulate it such that you could get a Marauder with all 3 and then see if they could one-cycle him.
Wow. So immediately derailing away from Doom. Your mom told me about this place opening up called M-Mart south of us, and recently my sister brought some stuff from there. It's, I guess, a big old Asian Japanese like market. I looked up some pictures. It seems pretty sick if you ever want to check it out.
Sounds cool.
Yeah. I'm hoping they'll finally have banana milk, because Ocean Mart is just too far away for me to care. Like, it's just too far away.
Yeah, I only go there when I happen to go to the office, which isn't often.
I will say, those cuttlefish chips are incredible. I know you didn't like them, and I'm glad you didn't like them, so you gave them to me.
I liked the shrimp chips. Cuttlefish, not so much.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I can eat like maybe 5 cuttlefish chips and I have to stop, because they are very salty. The shrimp chips, however, those are like crack cocaine in chip form.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
We got buff totems with a lot of pinkies. Oh, those guys just fell over.
Yeah, that was odd. Oh.
Probably the most people's least favorite new demon. Hey, did you ever want the Baron of Hell to be even tankier?
Luckily, this is embarrassing. It wasn't till near the end of the game I remembered, or rather tried the weak point, like, flash. And that does trivialize it pretty good.
I always go for the flash.
Yeah. Wow.
Go if you go a little bit ham, you can get him in one cycle. So. Oh yeah, I remember what I was gonna say. So speaking of weapon skins, this time the ballista has the green chrome from this level's master level.
I really like it. So is there any explanation of what the, like, I kind of know what the little guys are, but the big tentacles are like, I guess just grown-up versions of the little one? I don't know. It's weird.
I guess so. We first saw them in the blood swamps.
Right. They almost feel like a mini-boss until I just saw how fast you killed one.
Yeah, they are less formidable than their size would imply.
Yeah. They very much remind me of a Metroid Prime 2 enemy. Probably the little walled tentacles, but big.
Oh right, there are the tentacles in
I guess both
Prime
Primes
2 that also made it into Prime 3.
Yeah, and I guess Prime 1 also had tentacles.
Oh yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Wait, was it just 1 and 2, or were they also in 3?
I'm trying to think if there was some weird, like, phase-on tentacles or something. Like,
yeah.
That rings a weird bell, but to be fair, my memories of Metroid Prime 3 are recently, as of last night, horribly corrupted. Haha, ironic. I had a weird Metroid dream. I don't know, I have Metroid dreams every now and again of me playing Metroid, and it's this game that is like one of the ones that exists, but isn't. So I'm just like, wait. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Prime 3 didn't have the mechanic I dreamed last night, so... It's just always weird.
Your computer did not freak out. That was my biggest lag spike yet right there.
I'm curious what causes those.
It's probably just the fact that I kept ray tracing on.
Right. By the way, I was wrong. I have been running ray tracing this whole time.
Oh, okay.
So, I'm just curious, like, I thought I turned it off for performance, but I don't get many lag spikes. Although, to be fair...
It's a very optimized game.
To be fair, you are recording and playing the game, so that's going to take a hit right there. Like, honestly, that might be the only reason. Because we have pretty similar rigs in terms of, like, power, I would guess.
Pretty similar, I think.
Because I upgraded the most recent, but I think you had a better one than I did to begin with, so... Yeah. I don't really know how we would even compare... I think.
I'm sure that there's plenty of tools to compare rigs. Yeah.
And while I know it's stupid, I'll always kind of wish I got the Sonic motherboard just because it's ridiculous. But no, I like mine. It's got a built-in Wi-Fi like antenna, so that's fun.
If there's one part of my rig that's outdated these days, it would be the motherboard. It's like the oldest, most impactful piece that's still around. Because I upgraded the CPU and GPU a few years back. Right,
that's going to be your bottleneck. My bottleneck used to be my motherboard. Now, I have a RTX, whatever the lowest grade of RTX there is.
1060.
Yeah, 1060. And that's probably, like, for a while I couldn't use all of its juice, but now I can. I wouldn't mind.
Was the 10 series still GTX? No, I had a, well,
Now you got me curious because I had a GTX. Shoot, what the heck did I have?
Yeah, because I think I've got a 3060 right now, and I wanted to say that yours was it two
It might be
generations below mine or
because
just one?
I think it's 20, 30, 40. I think that's what the RTX
Yeah,
series
40
are.
is the most recent.
Yeah,
I think you have a
there's 10.
2060.
Yeah, there's no 10 RTX card.
Okay, yeah, you have a 2060.
I'm curious because I'm sure prices will keep getting better for those as time goes by. If I would be better off dual slotting my RTX, put a second 1060. I don't know. Like I've never
A second 2060.
right, a second 2060 because I think my motherboard is Crossfire enabled. I could be wrong. If it is, then that would be worth it. But that's where you can like make your computer think that two memory cards are basically one really big graphics card. So I see.
Yeah, I mean that's a very high cost option to get a little bit extra.
Yeah. So I'm really, I don't know. To be fair, I hardly use my GPU for the intended purpose of making animations. Instead, it just goes to playing video games. I finally understood what you meant about Sonic Frontiers. I've been playing it a lot past couple days. It does have an automation problem, gosh dang it. Like, I think the engine is good, but the level design is fundamentally flawed. Like,
It's just a thing about modern 3D Sonic games, and just they have always fallen back on taking control away from the player to solve problems, and that they've never stopped.
Right. Like, I legitimately think with a couple mods and some custom maps, you have a much better game on your hands, but that's, you know... what makes me glad is to see that Sega is looking at these mods, looking at the, like, feedback. They're like, okay, we took a better step, because I do think Frontiers is better, and I'm hoping that whatever comes after it is, like, an iterative improvement, because all the pieces are here, they just need to put them together correctly. Maybe throw out one of the pieces. I don't know. I do think...
My thing was that, yes, it is true that Sega was way too quick to throw things out when they weren't 100% satisfied with it, which was always.
Yep.
But I do think that just sticking with something isn't necessarily going to turn Sonic into something that rivals Mario again.
Oh no, gosh. Those days were 30 years ago, or like, yeah, maybe 20,
or even
years
something
ago.
that I would call a quality 3D platformer. I'm just like, yes, it would be nice that they actually take their time and iterate on Frontier style. That doesn't mean that I think the Frontier style is itself that great. That is coming from someone who hasn't really played much Frontiers yet.
Let me put it this way.
I feel like its foundation could still be much better than it is.
Oh, I agree. When I say iterate, I mean like, it's like, okay, can we go from like, I don't know, a little better to a lot better? Because there's good ideas in there, but ultimately there's a couple things that are desperately needed that I might myself make a mod just for this. Is basically Sonic has never been closer to being a car, and that's great. But he's missing one really important thing a car has, which is a gear shift. And without that, you just don't get the granular control you need when you need to slow down and platform. Because you do. I mean, and it's weird. The game has dynamic velocity in a way, but at the same time, like, any of the cyberspace sections are terrible because the Sonic you're playing as in cyberspace is not the Sonic you're playing as in the overworld. Like, your speed takes a massive hit. You feel super clunky. It just, I don't know. Like, I know that people have figured out ways to... I should look up the tricks people use to make them feel good, but, like, I would like a game where I wouldn't have to glitch it for some bare effing minimum movement options. I don't know. I mean, I could say the same thing on Mario 64, but... I mean... I'd say the foundation's pretty strong on that. So I don't know. Anyway, So how do you feel about the meat hook, grappling hook, or grapple point mechanic in this game?
I like it. I think that there's a lot of subtleties to the meat hook movement, like, you know, what direction you push when you jump off, that merits something like this. It's almost a little surprising that it wasn't in the base game.
Yeah, it kind of makes me wish there was more to that. And, you know, it's funny. The Blood Swamps introduced this. I think this is where I started to get my feel. Oh, it's the purple goo. Oh.
Speaking of movement, let's go back to the thing that restricts it horribly. So yeah, the maxed out auto shotgun kit makes hacking through these guys basically free.
Nice. What do you get for maxing that out anyway?
That makes it so that every time you get a kill with it, the enemy drops shotgun ammo.
Oh wow, that's great. I can't even remember why I brought up Sonic Frontiers. Gosh. Oh well. I will say, if I have the means to do it, I've been seeing this really cool. I've only seen one person do it. I think it was I want to say it was a Toriel cosplay from Undertale, and they had in their arm basically a puppet of the goat kid she has, and so it's almost like a double cosplay because it actually works very, very well. And I'm like, you know, there's a couple characters you could do this with that would be fun if you could make them not creepy. Oh, would be a Lloyd cosplay with an Anya puppet. That could be fun. And then an Eggman with a Sage. Anyway,
I feel like this wave is a little much.
Yeah,
it's like we just got through all of this stuff, and we did the thing with the purple goo, and then as we're going through, you throw another one at us.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Like, I can't help but wonder if this is their way of stretching a level.
Because, it does feel like it.
It's bad.
It's not bad. It's just you get to it and it's like, oh jeez, another one.
Well, it's exhausting, is what it is. Like, when I said I had to beat this level in a couple days, if not, like, maybe 5, I mean it. Like, I just kept getting burned out.
And here we have the big feature of Tag 2.
Wait, is he dead?
No, he is not.
So, why does he look like a ghost?
Communicating to us via astral projection? I don't know. He's also in hell, so...
Right. Crabs, don't you have to be dead to have a memorial? Details, Mr. Squidward.
So yeah, after Tag 1, people felt like it was rather conspicuous that there was a weapon slot for the Crucible that was now missing. They gave us a different melee weapon in Tag 2.
You know, I didn't understand it at first, but I eventually like it much more than the sword. And if the sword worked like the hammer did in letting you be able to refill your ammo, that would have been nice. Although it would have been stupidly broken.
Yeah, it feels like a more, I don't know, less gimmicky version of the of a melee weapon for Doom, but simultaneously is also kind of crazy overpowered because like it stuns everything and it causes them to spit out a whole lot of resources, and it's the requirements to refill it are actually quite low.
Yeah, for real.
So you can, if you're good, players have been able to spam this thing to high heaven, and this is one of the reasons why people felt that Tag 2 was so much easier than Tag 1 is because you have the hammer.
Yeah. You might have answered this question before, but remind me, why do you call this Tag again?
The Ancient Gods.
Oh. So have you ever seen the movie Kiki's Delivery Service?
Yes, I have.
So I like that movie. Years ago, I had the idea of making a crazy taxi game, but you're Kiki. I thought that would be fun. Somebody went ahead, and I wait too long for everything. Somebody made a game called Mika and the Witch's Mountain, I think. And it's basically, what if Kiki's Delivery Service took place in the world of Wind Waker? Kickstarted it like years ago for $15, and I finally got the Steam keys earlier last week.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I'll say, while I'm disappointed if the whole game is one island, as long as I get my $15 worth of a game, I don't really care.
I can't say that there are too many indie games that I really look at and I'm like, oh, I can't wait for that thing.
Yeah, that's fair. Like Hat in Time was one of them for me. I need to finish that.
Especially when it seems like all the ones I might be interested in, like for 3D action combat, all of them are just going to be Souls-likes.
Yeah, there's that one with the goat woman that everybody's horny on main for, Pseudo Regalia. That one I've heard really good things about in terms of, like, it feels really good to move around. I might check it out. It's like if Metroidvania was more of a platformer, which honestly sounds kind of fun. Because if there's one thing that's weird, like, Metroid Other M doesn't count, but imagine, I don't know, like, I can't imagine how a third-person Metroid would work, other than the failure that was Other M. Although, to be fair, like, there was, I don't know, was it Overdrive? What was the name of that mod? Maximum Edition? That one kind of fixes enough stuff that it's a good game, but
I never did too much of Maximum Edition, just the first little bit. I would like to play that sometime just to see all of the ways they improved it.
Yeah. I forgot to tell Dan this last time I was on with him, but I forgot to tell him my headcanon because I don't like to think of Other M as existing. And I don't think it does, actually, the more I think about it.
Well, it's completely pointless because it just rehashes Fusion's story.
Right. Honestly, man, if it was a good game, the idea of a 3D version of Fusion seems awesome. Because if they made a Prime game that followed the events of Fusion, might be kind of sick, just because I feel like being chased by the SLEX in first person would be horrifying. I don't know, it would be hard to... Anyway, I have this thought that I'm going to say Admiral Dane is Adam Malkovich. I don't care if it doesn't make sense. I liked Admiral Dane. He was a highlight of Prime 3 for me.
Yeah, like that's what everyone brings up is like... On the one hand, what's the El Dorado meme?
On the one hand, what was it? Riches behind our wildest dreams, or beyond our wildest dreams. On the other hand, stinking, miserable failure, or something like that. I can't remember.
Painful, agonizing
That's
failure,
it.
yeah.
Also, Stone Imps. Like...
Hey, we noticed that you're not using the auto shotgun.
Yeah, they noticed. It's because you made the sticky so good.
Continuing the trend of being like, what tools did people not end up using? Let's make a recolor of an enemy that forces you to use it.
Right. The slowdown, seeing the way you use slowdown makes me wish I used it more. Because to me, it was just I could be getting a functional rune advantage, and I can just deal with the game not ever slowing down. But,
For me, it was always a thing of being able to hit things precisely. Mm-hmm. Of being like, okay, I can get a headshot, I can take out weak points.
Right. I do find it funny that the Stone Imps, you can glory kill them. So, it's just funny to think Doomguy is just like, well, my weapons can't do anything except this gun. Oh, and my fist!
I mean, I guess when they're staggered it changes, but yeah. So there are hammer recharges just floating around, but unlike the Crucible, they're not required to get more.
Thank goodness. Man, I should make... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say that I was just thinking, Dark Ages is probably looking at what they did with the melee weapons in this game and trying to expand on them.
Huh, what? Huh.
Easter egg, that's a sprite from the classic Doom
Yeah.
games. So I'm very curious to see what Dark Ages will do in terms of melee, because I feel like it'll be more fleshed out than what Eternal had.
I mean, I literally have the game's console yelling at me over it. I love melee in this game.
All right, well, we will finish up the World Spear next time. See ya.
Bye-bye.